Welcome to Recover in Place. For today's mobility routine, we're doing some movement here with the hips. This one's good after you've been sitting with the 90-90 position. All right, so first off, let's just kind of get our hips moving. So we're going to start by sitting on the ground. My feet here are going to be a little bit outside of my hips. To start us out, we're just going to have the hands behind to support me. So I'm just going to drop my knees side to side like so. Again, I'm not forcing it. I'm just moving back and forth. So notice I get a little bit of rotation through the torso, the hips, the pelvis as I do this. Right, so I've been sitting for a while. This one's just kind of nice to get me moving a little bit better. And just kind of getting those hips moving a bit better as well. All right, so just kind of easy going back and forth. I'm not forcing this. I'm just letting things drop side to side. All right, so now we're going to get into what we're calling the 90-90 position. So for the 90-90 position here, basically I have this leg with a 90-degree angle here, and this leg with a 90-degree angle here, right? If I was basically sitting, my torso would be pointing out over this front leg. All right, so now from here, we're going to do a little bit of movement here with the torso. So from here, I'm going to think about sitting up nice and tall. We're going to get 5 each side on this. So I'm going to start off here. I'm going to rotate, right? So I'm rotating through the torso. You can use your hands to kind of help stabilize you if that feels better. So start off with a rotation. After that, I'm going to reset, and then I'm facing my torso straight in line with this leg. I'm going to think about getting a side bend towards this leg, all right? So that would be one. So now we're going to go to the other side. I'm just going to add a little bit of movement to this one. So I start off nice and tall with the torso, rotates, right? I'm rotating, and then now I'm going to face the torso here, a little bit of side bend, right? Shouldn't feel bad or anything like that. No pain in the lower back. Moving from the hip, not necessarily just like tipping your head over, all right? So that's one each side, rotating back here. So again, rotate with the torso, side bend, trying to move from the hip, right? Switching sides, rotate, side bends, it's 2 each side, back to this way, right, rotates, side bends, switching sides, nice and tall, rotate, side bend, just nice and easy, coming back over here, nice and tall, rotate, side bends, switching sides, tall with the torso, rotate, side bends. Nice, one more each side here, so nice and tall. Rotate, side bends, switching sides, rotating, side bend. All right, so now we've got 5 each side. We're just going to add a little bit of movement with this, all right? So we're going to go just from 90 to 90 nice and smoothly here. Notice I'm using my arms behind me to help me out. So I place both hands, I shift, back and forth. This usually feels pretty good after you've been sitting or standing for a while, just get the hips moving. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging and take over a little bit more of the movement here, I can do it without my hands, all right? So a lot more abdominals. This becomes quite a challenging exercise now as you do this back and forth, right? I'm just kind of squeezing my fists here as I go back and forth. I'm going to get about 5 each side on this, 5 each side. All right, if you need to reset the position, you go with resets. One more each side. All right, so that is basically the 90-90 position. We're going to add a little bit of an extra little stretch on this one. So I'm going to come to 90-degree position here, and I think about coming over in line with the middle part of my shin, right? I'm going to feel this through the back glute here, and then we're going to add a little bit of tense and relax to this. So I'm going to basically find a stretch. Again, I'm moving from my hip in line with kind of that mid part of the shin is where my torso is coming over. Once I find a good stretch here, I'm going to think about driving my whole leg down in the ground with about 10% of my strength about 10 seconds here, all right? So I'm going to press down on the ground for 10 seconds and go. So once the 10 seconds is up, I'm going to basically relax the drive in the ground, but I'm not going to relax the stretch. So if you notice for me, basically as I relaxed the driving into the ground but not the stretch, I was able to actually sink in deeper, right? I don't want to basically take the driving of my leg down the ground off and then kick the torso back, because that's basically not going to help me as much. Right? The idea is basically to keep trying to sink into it and not just relax the leg. So I'm just going to be here for about another 20 seconds. Coming out of that. Again, I'm shifting to the other side here. I'm going to go for a stretch here. So I'm coming in line with the mid part of the lower leg, the shin right here. So I'm moving from my hip, hinging over, and I'm finding a stretch, right? I shouldn't feel any nerve pain or anything like that. If you do, maybe come out of it, shift your hips a little bit, and then come back in, right? So I shouldn't feel any nerve pain. It's a hot, burning, kind of tingly, electrical feeling, which we don't want to feel. Breathing into it. Once you feel like you've sunk into the stretch, we're going to think about driving this leg down into the ground, 10% of your strength for 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, go. So once the 10 seconds is up, I'm going to think about letting off the tension of the drive in the ground, but not the stretch. I'm going to see if I can sink into this a little bit more. So as I let that off, so you can sink it anymore, don't back off the stretch. All right, again, no nerve pain with this. Should just feel like a nice, good stretch to the glute, the leg, and the hip. We're here for another 20 seconds. So slowly coming out of that. And to finish this off, let's just kind of move back and forth with the assistance here of the hands. Just do the 90-90 again. Back and forth. After that, just see how it's moving, if it's moving any better. Definitely feel like my hips are moving a little bit better. All right, folks. Well, that is all I've got for you today. Thanks for coming by and checking this out. This has been Recover in Place.